That was the Roman Catholic Church, following the Great East-West Schism of 1054, which divided the Orthodox East from the Catholic West. The Roman Catholic Church held unchallenged sway over the hearts and minds of Western Europe. Although they might have spat from time to time, another country might elect its own pope, but by naming a pope, even though suspenders were still operating within the constraints of the Roman Catholic faith, they were just fighting over who would be at the head. No one who challenged the supremacy of the Roman Catholic Church was allowed to draw breath for long. Anyone who tried to start their own church or come up with their own take on Christianity was labeled a heretic. Their property was seized and their followers died in the most horrible manner available at the time, and the dominance of the Roman Catholic Church remained unchallenged for nearly 500 years. And then in 1570, a German priest shook the Catholic Church to its very foundations. His name was Martin Luther. Luther was not a rebel. He wasn't trying to destroy the Catholic Church or even start his own religion. All Luther was trying to do is to stop the church from engaging in some practices that he considered unchristianity. Luther's problem was with the church practice of selling indulgences. And indulgences, remission of punishment for sins. You can pick up an indulgence as a get-out-of-jail free card. The Church has been in the practice of granting indulgences in exchange for good works in ex parte for centuries. Ever since Pope Urban II offered indulgences to Crusaders in 1095, Luther questioned whether the Church has the authority to grant such indulgences. He believed that the only true path to salvation lay faithfulness to the Christ and his teaching, not through adherence to the ideologies and dogmas. The Catholic Church led Luther probably would not have made a fuss if they weren't for the fact that these get-out-of-hell free cards were not actually free. Earlier that year, in 1570, Pope Leo X has made an unconventional move. Leo wanted to rebuild St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, but he didn't want to spend his own considerable wealth to do so. This is not surprising, as Leo was a member of the wealthy Medici banking family, which dominated Florence, the members more than bankers than the priests. Leo's solution was to begin offering indulgences in exchange for donations to the basilica's renovation, while these donations technically count as pious work. Luther saw them as simple payment to the Luther's eyes. The church was essentially selling salvation. He witnessed poor peasants giving up their life savings to buy an indulgence for a dead relative in the hope of saving their loved ones from the tortures of predatory, all the while the church grew ever richer. This was too much for Luther. Luther had read the Bible, something most people his age could not do. Since the only available translations of the Bible were in Latin and Greek, Luther saw nothing in the Bible. They gave the church the right to charge people for their salvation. The church is supposed to be a spiritual sanctuary, not a marketplace. So, Luther said about reading 95 complaints with their church's greedy behavior. These complaints are now called the 95 Theses. On October 31st, 1570, Luther nailed his 95 Theses to the door of the church with Wittenberg and sent copies to the higher authorities. Half the Catholic Church, their posting out the 95 Theses is considered by many the beginning of the Protestant Reformation. However, it is important to remember trying to undermine the church. He was just trying to get them to stop making money off the business of salvation. Luther's 95 Theses spread across Europe like wildfire. Within 2 months, they are being read in cities across the continent. The next year, they were translated into German and printed on a massive scale. Further fueling their controversy, Luther suddenly found himself at the center of the greatest conflict. His age, the Pope was not happy, and having his scam with their indulgences exposed, he had Luther accused of heresy a couple years later. In 1520, the Pope wrote a letter to Luther, there in which he banned any further distribution of Luther's 95 Theses. and demanded Luther resent his heresy or face excommunication or being cut off from the church and its sacraments. This directive excommunication was a big deal, since pretty much everyone believed that the only way to get to the heaven was to receive their sacraments up in the Roman Catholic Church. Since Luther did not think he needed their papacy to achieve salvation, he did not care if he was excommunicated. Luther publicly burned the Pope's letter and thereby broke all ties with the Roman Catholic Church. Yet the Church was not done with Luther. The Church decided to hand Luther over the greatest secular authority in Germany, the Holy Roman Empire, in 1521. Martin Luther was summoned to the Diet of Worms, a conference of both religious and leaders held in Worms, Germany. Once again, Luther was commanded to resent his heresy. He refused. The upshot was that Luther was condemned. The Holy Roman Emperor Charles V published the Edict of Worms calling for Luther's immediate arrest, yet Luther's supporters would not let him be imprisoned. Instead, they spirited him away and hid him in Bird Castle, not content to hide on the sidelines. Luther made good use of his exile. He spent his year at Bordeaux, leading various letters and treaties attacking the Catholic Church. His greatest achievement at the time was his translation of the Bible into German. Luther held the Bible as the highest authority, higher even the papacy. He realized that so long as people could not read the Bible, they will continue to fall for the lies and deceptions of Catholic ideology. With their supporters marking his translation now, and soon printing presses across Germany were cranking out copies for Luther's Bible. The publication had their hired effect all across Germany. People started reading the Bible and began challenging the authority of their church